those of you on the internet have been seeing the picture of the Mari Lwyd, which is the Welsh hobby horse thing that goes around at Christmas time. I'm sure some of you are nodding, but I cannot see a bloody thing because of the lights. So I was looking at that and I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to twist that. I'm going to do a thing with that. So just keep that meme in mind. Midnight, hark the hands of the clock. They couldn't remember anything afterwards, of course. Sometimes you ride an old gray mare, sometimes the gray mare rides your soul, possesses your fragile human body, warps it for her own purposes. You made the choice to be the bearer of this glorious curse, or perhaps the choice was made for you. Generations of tradition handed down, father and mother to son and daughter, aunt and uncle to niece and nephew, cousin to cousin down the line. Or maybe you were apprenticed into the life, offered a part in the traditional celebration, and so you took that offer up and wore the mantle. They never remember afterwards, because this would be too terrible a thing for mere mortal minds to hold. They gather as a crew and put on the costumes. The glee men and women, pipe and drum and fiddle, merry men and merry women, costumed upright in woolen motley, players in a live Punch and Judy show. They are fools and jesters, wise idiots all. One will dress in the attire of a minor lord or rich merchant, hold the reins as if they could guide and control the fierce force manifest. Last comes the one chosen to bear the physical representation, bear Mari Lwyd herself with its decorated skull of a long dead mare, colorful glass bulbs for eyes, ribbons and bangles bright tied around the long pole, a gruesome hobby horse in her holiday finery. The bearer hides under gray blankets, a hooded monk, a hidden priest of a power they do not understand, yet celebrate. Once, only the men of the villages performed these parts, bore the mare, sang the songs, played the tunes, but time marches forward, and though war and blood and smoke cause them to nearly forget us, a few true and faithful holders of the tales and tunes called us back, passed the lore to descendants without regard to such silly labels, and now all might celebrate. And to my brethren and I, it matters not if you call yourself man or woman or neither or both. Be what you would be what you want. To the Mari Lwyd, it matters not. Belief is the food and the fuel. Belief is all. The night darkens, and onward our merry band marches door to door, demanding entry, demanding drink and food and merriment. They sing the old songs, the words well-worn, bright with power. Here we come, O innocent friends, to ask your leave, to ask your leave, to ask your leave, to sing of the Mari Lwyd. Token protests are swept aside in ritual song and chants, and we gain entry to every home, eat and drink at every hearth. Our teeth clack, our feet stamp, and we move to the next house, our celebrants singing, playing, dancing, beer and wassail flowing as the night and chants grow wilder and louder until midnight. Hark the hand of the clock. They bear the Mari Lwyd, a sacred thing. Through the night they carry her, and betrayed are the living, betrayed are the dead, and all are confused by a horse's head. They never remember anything afterwards, and it is a mercy. In that moment between one day and the next, between what our bearer perceives and what lies beneath, as songs and chants raise the power, sometimes the gray mare rides your soul, offered so freely, and we run through the night, pulling our flock along across the cold winter countryside, through a field of stars, until here we stand on the flat top of a lonely forgotten tor, winds howling as our flock builds up the balefire, sings me awake, summons me through time and space to stand upon this earth in this hour. I am the Mari Lwyd, horse of frost, star horse, white horse of the sea, carried home. The forgotten hooded ones across the land awake. Exiles, they all come to my call tonight. They strain against the door, seeking entry. They strain towards the fire, which fosters warmth and life. Comes now from the Cotswold the broad, with his great bull's head and horns, snorting, stamping the ground with hooves, ringing iron struck by smith hammers. 2 attendants walk at his side, bearing lanterns and hollowed turnips. He has been forgotten by most, but even 2 who remember and remain are enough on this night. Yorkshire's old Tup the ram bounds up the hill next, trailing his team, a shepherd, a spinner, a weaver, a butcher, apron stained and knives sharp enough to cut the wind. A boy trails behind, bearing a cup to catch the blood of the sacrifice. Oh, soon your bowl shall be warm and full, my child, but not this night. Not until the stars alight are right, not until the moon gives leave and the last midnight falls. The old Nottingham horse, festooned with ribbons and rosettes, his worshippers a dark reflection of my own, steps into the light of the balefire next, and we lock eyes across it, he and I. We are old acquaintances, and tonight he bows to me, acknowledges my power in this place. A jingle of bells and a clack of sticks signals the arrival of the old bull, a great chestnut stallion, and the young ball, a black colt, black as a starless night. They canter up from the forest of Rosendale, are danced in by men and women in white, bells on their shins, sticks in their hands. Behind the dancers trail 2 youngsters bearing a pole tied with ribbons round, reminder of warmer days to come. At last the great white horse of Kent arrives, regal and alone. They need no attendants or cultists or even merrymakers, for behind them lays the entire belief of Kent. He stands to my right, and the circle is complete. Tonight his back is bare. Tonight he bears no rider, but his is the task that bringeth blood for the bowl, when at last the moon and the stars command. The balefire leaps high into the night, reaching with red and yellow fingers to touch the velvet dark above, and we feel them, our brothers and sisters, some faded, some lost to time. We feel them join us in this place. Outside our circle, the music and singing and dancing and clacking of sticks and ringing of bells, crescendos and voices grow wild and music feral. It is written in the Red Book that near the town of Abington there is a mountain with a white figure, a stallion upon it. It is all white, and nothing grows upon this stallion. And the Uppington horse rises from his sleep, stands upon his hill, stamps his hood, snorts a challenge to the small things of this world, and all his descendants and all of his forebears stir from their slumber to his call, leave their beds barren on hills and mountains, deserts and plains, forest floors. This night they walk in the shadows, they dance with the moon itself. The stars shift, and the balefire dies. One by one, each returns to their place of power, and I lead my exhausted troop home to their dwellings, leave them and all of their tomorrows, and they will not remember. Midnight, hark the hand of the clock. For soon, my children, the moon will shine on the cold solstice, and the stars will fall from their heavenly beds, and on that final midnight, oh my children, you will remember.